Hello there. So, can you set up your home voiceover studio on a limited budget? In this video, we'll take a look and go around the home looking at the best areas for you to set up your recording equipment. To record voiceovers at home for money is a fun, creative, and quite often easy way of bringing in income. But we're well aware here that many people watching this will not have the resources to afford to build a broadcast quality recording studio in their own homes. In our training courses we've put together over the years at voiceovermasterclass.com, maybe we've assumed that people have more technical knowledge than we think, or that everyone's got large savings to dip into. But of course, many people have been made redundant over the big pandemic year, have money problems, and don't want to commit to something that may not turn out to be a money spinner for them at first. So in this video, I'll assume that cash is tight, and I won't just give recommendations on equipment, but also tell you how you can save money by using free software programs, also tips and tricks within that software to make your recorded sound like they're recorded in a far more professional environment. You know, the good news is, because voiceover is audio only, yes, people can't see where you're recording. So as long as it sounds good, that's all the client cares about, all right? So first of all, what do you do with your smartphone? Surely that can record audio? Well, it can, but yes, they're amazing, but you can't use them to record or edit voiceovers. In fact, I don't even use my phone to record quick demos. I wait until I'm behind a proper microphone, as quite often clients want to hear not just your take on the audition script in terms of voice style, personality, and so on, but the quality of the final recording in your home studio. So the best possible, even for demos. So what equipment will you need is a very basic list. A microphone, a plosive pop filter, a microphone stand, a computer interface box, a computer, laptop, whatever, cables, audio editing software, and that's all you need to start with, as well as the internet, of course. And the location where you're going to record your voiceover, that's the sticking point for many people. It's where many people come unstuck. Where in the house can I put this stuff? So what does a good recording location need to be for voiceover work? Two things really. One, somewhere very quiet with a low noise floor. I'll explain what that is later. And two, somewhere that's acoustically very dead, minimal sound reflections, giving the echo or reverberations. So first of all, look around where you live, but think sound, not what things look like. So get away from hard surfaces such as tables and floors without carpets, and definitely away from kitchen areas where there are appliances that always make pesky noises all the time. So investigate particularly bedroom areas, those rooms that have got lots of drapes, curtains, soft furnishings around to absorb sound. You may want to be comfortable in your living room, but if you're near any windows, not only will they let sound in from the outside, but they'll also reflect sound too, so you'll need to close the curtains. Now, of course, many vloggers and podcast producers are quite happy to sit in their kitchens on their breakfast tables and set up their microphones there, and even interview people. And when you have two microphones or more open, it makes the environment even more acoustically live than when it's one mouth on one microphone close up. But that's fine for the podcast type production, but it won't be good enough quality to sell your voiceover recordings to a client who want really good quality to edit into their productions. Ideally, you need a desk where you can sit and be comfortable to put your laptop or tablet in front of you where you read the scripts. But ideally, you'd cover the hard surface of the desk with a blanket or towel. Also, I wouldn't have what the lady has here, a microphone stand that will pick up vibrations from your hand and arms on the desk. You should have a microphone boom pole where the stand is actually on the floor. Many people I know who have set up their first recording area have found the walk-in closet is extremely rich in audio recording possibilities, surrounded by lots of lovely soft clothes that absorb sound. Make sure the clothes around you don't rustle, but set up a little LED light in there. LED because the light won't get hot and so won't be a fire risk with your clothes around. With a small desk in there, you could find that's the best area in your house to get a recording setup with a low noise floor. And to check you've got rid of reverberations, clap your hands. If it sounds like you're outside and you can't hear any reverb, That's good. So what is a noise floor? Well, I'm in my voice booth now, and what you're looking at is the software program I use, Adobe Audition, which you do have to pay for, but I'll show you a free one a little later on in the video. So first of all, once you've calibrated your input so that you're kicking okay on the meters and it looks like you're getting good signal to noise ratio, in other words, it's not too loud that it's distorting, and it's not too soft that you've got lots of sss in the background and it's very faint, so that means good signal to noise ratio. And so what you're looking on there is a good healthy waveform. So now I'm going to shut up and we're just going to look at the meter at the bottom and see what happens when I don't speak. That is the noise floor, and it is measured in decibels. It should be a minus number. I hope it is, or else it'll be a terrible noise floor. Here we go. I'm going to stop speaking now. So that's about minus 75 kicking around there, and that's what it should be for a professional voice booth. The lower the noise floor is, the better it is. The more clients you'll get, the more money you'll get. There'll always be some clients who've got low standards and don't really care that much about technical quality, but the downside is they probably won't pay as much either. To get the high-end paying clients, you need to have good quality recordings, not distorted, the right signal-to-noise ratio, and a low noise floor, okay? Now, if you're thinking of recording audiobooks, for example, and thinking, oh, their technical standards will be low, there's only audiobooks in it. Well, no, think again. ACX, who are arguably the world's largest audiobook distributors, insist on a noise floor of minus 60 decibels or better. So if you don't achieve those standards, your audiobook recordings will be rejected. Now, for a laugh, I went out to my garden. I've got a summer house. It's like a glorified shed, basically. There's no way I could record anything in there, but I had a go. I didn't use my fancy microphone. I used an AKG P120, which is less than $100 new, although you can pick up many of these used for far less than that. It doesn't come with a shock mount, but you'll see I had a boom mic stand, so it doesn't pick up the table vibrations, and my solid-state laptop was supported by an Amazon box. As expected, the noise floor here wasn't very good, and the acoustics were terrible, surrounded by all those hard surfaces. But I just wanted to see if I could fix anything in an edit program. I'll show you how I get on in a minute, but first of all, two other ways that you can reduce the noise floor. The first is to have hardware in between the microphone and the next box, which is normally the computer interface. Something like this, the DBX286. This box has got a noise gate in it, so in other words, it only lets through what's over a certain amount. That certain amount being the pesky stuff in the background you're trying to get rid of. The downside is, if you haven't set it up exactly right, it can clip your voiceover and sound, to be honest, a bit strange. And once it's recorded with that clipping, you can't unclip it. So if you are going to use any hardware noise gate like this, then make sure you have a backup copy as well, without any noise gate or processing of any kind, which you should do anyway. And you have a Y connecting lead from your microphone into the DBX box, and the other one into a solid-state recorder as a backup. The other thing you can do, not just to reduce background noise, but also to improve the acoustics, is to use a pop-up tent like this. This is from Vocal Booth to Go, and you need to look out for second-hand ones on your market if you don't want to pay the full price. You're in a little mini padded cell with your microphone and your computer inside this box, and you can buy a flap to go behind you. Of course, you could make something like this yourself with a wooden frame and old duvets, which is absolutely fine. The disadvantage is, quite often it sounds a bit boxy and a bit muffled in a small space like this. In fact, when I use my Vocal Booth to Go while I'm in a hotel room or somewhere away from the studio, then I have to put this equalization setting in, basically bass roll-off, that I've worked out to compensate for the muffledness inside. So what happens if you've got no option but to record in an area with a high noise floor? If the actual recording itself is good quality and you only notice the high noise floor bleeding into the recording, in between words and in between sentences. I never did play you the noise floor I recorded in the summer house, did I? It started raining as soon as I got in there. This is it. Yes. So it's like -40, so it needs to be below -60 to pass ACX even, let alone people who are more stricter than that. So that's terrible. But surely if we have a noise floor like that, if we talk loud and over it and close to the mic, it'll be all right, won't it? Well, this is a script I did in there. Even before the 111-point check is done. To which of the 3 warranty types does this apply? Select... No. It still is in the background there. So if you think that the words are okay, but the client is only going to notice in between, you could zoom in and highlight the stuff in between the words and click delete. Check is done. To which of the 3 warranty... But you still hear it in the words. So we've got a problem, and we really should have done it properly in the first place, and it needs a re-record. Although, if, for example, you're a producer, the voiceover's gone away, and the client needs it now... There are various rescue things in this software called Adobe Audition. For example, there's something called denoiser. Have a listen to this. This is the same thing. Can you hear the background now? To which of the 3 warranty types does this apply? Select a response and confirm your selection by clicking on OK. Let's hear what a dealer and a It's disappeared. However, it does sound a bit muffled and it's got loads of artifacts. But it is clever though, isn't it? Well, that's flipping clever in Audition, isn't it? But look, we can't afford Audition. Ah, right. Is there a software program that's free that can do this kind of stuff? Yes, there is. If you don't want to commit to subscribing to Adobe Audition software, which is arguably the industry standard, these 2 we recommend. Audacity and NCH Wavepad. Audacity is completely free, but please donate to the developers if you can afford it. And NCH Wavepad, which is completely free for non-commercial use and not that expensive to completely buy outright, to be honest. But both of these are pretty impressive for the features that they include as part of the software. We could do entire courses on each of these things, but very quickly I'll show you how to record, play, and also get rid of any background noise. So this is what Audacity looks like when you open it up. Ooh, pretty scary, and there's nothing there. But don't worry, most of these audio editing programs are pretty similar. Counter at the bottom, you've got the menus at the top, and this big space that's going to be filled with the waveform. First thing to do is to make sure it can actually listen to what you're putting into it. So in other words, it needs to sense your sound card. So first of all, you go into Edit, then Preferences, and then you take a look at the devices. It's already picked up automatically. I've just installed this actually. It's already automatically picked up the interface that I have, which happens on this computer to be a Steinberg UR22 Mark II, but it will say whatever your USB interface, and you simply push the record button, and look, my voice is coming out there, and it's recording it. Now, unfortunately, it's only doing it on the left-hand side, because one thing I didn't do was tell it to do mono. But if I just stop that by pushing the stop button, and then basically force it to do mono, File, New, and then change it down here to mono, now when I record, it'll be what us voiceovers want. After all, we've only got one mouth, so everything has to be done in mono. That's basically how to record, and if I wanted to play it back, I push the stop button here, or the space bar, and click back to where we want to listen, and push play. So everything has to be done in mono. And that's me. And that's pretty good, isn't it? And if you want to edit anything, you click at the bottom and you just highlight it if I didn't want that, and then click the delete button, and then you've got rid of it. And I should have done that properly, but I'm only basically showing you the very basics here. Now, what happens if there's any background noise? Well, I'm going to open the window of my booth and bring in some background noise and record some more. So starting again, I wonder if you can hear that in the background. I've opened the window and also the door into the kitchen, and I've put on the tumble dryer. So I'm going to be very quiet now. Well, I was quiet, but obviously the ambience is not. And so we need to get rid of that noise. Ideally, of course, you would actually record in a quiet place to start with decent acoustics, as we've said before. But if you really have to fix something, here's how to do it in Audacity. So we've made it so that the waveform fills the whole screen, and we'll go to Effect and we'll go to Normalize, and we'll normalize to -3, which is like your industry standard, -3 decibels, and go OK. Now watch what happens to the waveform, and it just basically goes bigger. So let the dog see the rabbit. Now this is the pesky part. And look at the noise floor up here when I play it. -42, which is obviously horrible. But there are ways of doing it, and many of these audio programs have a way of sucking up or sampling the noisy bit and working out what it can be and taking it away from the rest of it. So you highlight from left to right, let go, and then you go to Effect again, then Noise Reduction, click on that, and then Get Noise Profile. But here you can preview and muck about with these things to see what it does. We can cut down the noise reduction here, have changed the sensitivity as well. So if we go OK to that, and suddenly it's got rid of the noise. Listen. So then what happens if we want to do that to everything? Well, it's still in the memory. So we highlight the whole of the file now, and then go back into Effect, Noise Reduction. It's already got the profile from before, and then go OK to the whole lot. And now it's reduced the noise in the whole of the recording. Kitchen, and I've put on the tumble dryer. So I'm going to be very quiet now. The disadvantage is you do get artifacts, and you get artifacts with all of these systems. So that's why it's always best to record properly in the first place. And this is Wavepad from NCH, who are an excellent software company. They don't do enough marketing, I don't think, because many people haven't even heard of them. But this particular one for audio editing is completely free for non-commercial use, but it's not that expensive just to buy the thing. So as before, you've got to check that it's sensing your sound card. Here it's Tools, then Options, and then you go to Audio, and this is the play device. Make sure it says your sound device there, and on recording you can even see yourself on the little meter here, and you can even say I want display levels when recording is on standby as well, and loads of other options. But the first thing to need to do is to get connected and then go OK. Now here, instead of the Audacity buttons up here, they're down here this time. So if we simply go into Record, it's now recording me, and you can change the way it displays the waveform. You can move this box around and do whatever you like, and then you stop. You can use shortcuts if you want to, but I'm just using the buttons now for simplicity. Click back where you want to start from and push the play button. It's now recording me, and you can change the way it displays the... Fantastic. If only we had this 30 years ago, eh? In the days of magnetic tape. Oh, we're so lucky now. You youngsters don't know how lucky you are. And if you want to highlight a section, again, if you want to edit anything, push the delete button on your keyboard, and it's gone. It's now recording me. But what about noise reduction? This is where NCH Wavepad really scores. It's very comprehensive. Let's say I left a gap of good 5-10 seconds and I wanted to sample the noise. We could do as I showed you before in Wavepad. Go into the top effects one here, and then you grab noise sample from the selected area, and you can continue that way. Or you could go to the second effects menu, not that one there, but this one there. If I had to criticize this software, that is a little bit confusing, but it's worth it for what it shows you. The lower one here, and you've got all these colored things here. Now you go to effects and clean up. Now look at this. You'll like this, not a lot. You've got click pop removal. You've got all the high pass filters, which, for example, high pass basically means if you've got sort of low rumble or mains hum or something like that, it lets high pass, and say 50, 60 hertz, anything less than that you roll off, and that can get rid of an awful lot of problems. But look at this, noise reduction, noise removal wizard. Oh my goodness me. Select the noise type, and you can select all this. Look, background traffic noise, brief clicks, brief popping sounds, constant low frequency noise caused by electrical interference. And you can preview it. We simply go into record. I haven't got any of these problems here, but it just does it, you know, and it's very, very powerful. There are so many options. I do recommend you look at this. So that's the second recommendation of software that is free or extremely cheap to purchase. So let's go through the equipment you can look out for, new or used, that will give you good quality at a budget price. First of all, your microphone. There are two types of microphones. USB and XLR connectors. What does the difference make about the connector? Well, if it's USB, it basically means you can plug it straight into your computer and you don't need an interface box. Well, that's good, isn't it? Well, yes, it sounds attractive, but it won't give you the flexibility of having an XLR connection when you need to use it in a mixer or if you have to put it into a solid-state recorder. So, for professional use, really XLR, and purists and various sound engineers may scoff at these USB microphones and laugh in your face and share all sorts of technical parameters, but it's your choice. I personally say if you can afford an XLR connector, then do it. So these are my recommendations of USB microphones that will get you started in your voiceover career for very little money, either new or certainly second-hand as long as they've been looked after. The Rode NT1A, which comes in a kit as well with your own shock mount and a little pop filter. The Marantz is good, so is the Shure and the AT2020, which is also made in an XLR variant as well. And then for XLR microphones, the Rode Procaster AKG 420, which is the bigger brother of the little one that you saw me earlier in the summer house, SE 2200, and the Neumann TLM 102 if you really want to push the boat out. But you may find a real bargain second-hand with a Neumann. If you find one, snap it up. If you have an XLR microphone, you'll need an interface box to connect it to your computer. Plenty of them out there. My two main recommendations are any of the Solo Scarlett or the Steinberg UR22. And there'll be many of the Mark IIs around now in the used market because people will be upgrading to the USB-C type. As to computer, you don't need that powerful a computer for audio, but just go for quietness. Don't have anything with noisy fans because it's a right pain to hide it away from where your microphone is. Ideally, a solid-state laptop if you can afford it. So once you're set up with your home studio, how do you start a voiceover career? How do you start getting clients and making money with your voice? Well, you need to take one of our courses at Voiceover Masterclass, I'm bound to say, but we do have a comprehensive free course you're very welcome to take. Simply go to our website, click on the video-based course there, and we'll be very pleased to see you. Katie Brody and myself will take you through all the stages, first of looking at your type of voice, how to improve it, and then how to set up your voice career, getting those clients in. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe to our Voiceover Masterclass channel, and we'll see you at our website where we've got many more tips for you. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.